everybody, and welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. And of course, today we're going to be talking about a heavyweight preview, which actually the fight itself hasn't really been talked about that much. And I don't know why, because I really do think that this could be a really great heavyweight clash. Of course, we're talking about the fight at the weekend, Tony Yoka taking on Martin Bakole. It's going to be a really good heavyweight clash, this. BoxRec have it down as number 13, taking on number 15. So you can see that this is going to be a really close call. And when you look at their records, both respectively, you can see this going either way. Guys, I am going to give my prediction on this one. But before I do, please do hit that like button. And also remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new here for more great boxing content. We're going to be keeping up with these fight previews, these fight reactions, and just the stories of general boxing. So do make sure to hit that subscribe button. So let's talk about this fight, because as I said, it's one that hasn't been widely advertised, and maybe it's because it's taking part in France, maybe because it's not, got that English crowd or the American crowd behind it. But nonetheless, this is going to be a really interesting heavyweight clash. And to be fair, it's two very talented heavyweights. Of course, talking about Yoka, he's basically, you look at his background, world champion gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist. And since turning pro, he's yet to be defeated. 11 wins so far, 9 of those coming by way of knockout. And actually, when you look at the people he's beat on the way, he's had a couple of successful, names under his belt as well, for someone that's quite early into, their pro career, talking Christian Hammer, Dave Allen. There's a couple more that you can throw into that hat. But this is going to probably be, I reckon, one of his hardest tests to date, coming up against Bakole, who, he's got one loss on his record. He's had 17 wins, 1 loss to his name. 13 of those wins have come by way of KO, though. So you're seeing a very familiar theme here, that this, of course, is a heavyweight clash. So, a lot of them do end by way of knockouts. But you do fancy there to be a knockout in this contest. I don't see this going the distance. There's an early prediction for you. But to be fair to Bakole, although he's got 1 loss to his name, it was against a very respectable Michael Hunter, I'm sure is a household name for quite a lot of heavyweight boxing fans. He's also beat Marius Watch, which was a good win. And let's not forget, most recently, of course, it was an aging Kevin Johnson. But, he did knock out Kevin Johnson in under a minute, 58 seconds is all that fight went for. So you do see a very familiar theme here. 2 fighters that have great power, and I'm sure they'll be wanting to use that come the fight on Saturday. Of course, this is a rearranged fight, a fight which was supposed to take place earlier on in the year. It was originally scheduled, I believe, for the 14th of January. So it's took a while to rearrange, but they are both here now and ready to fight. And what's interesting about these 2 fighters is you do really feel whoever wins this one, already quite high up in the rankings, both of them, they'll be pushing for some bigger fights come the rest of the year. Maybe some British names, or some, maybe somewhere over in the States, to find a bit of a bigger card. You could see one of these featuring on maybe a big undercard as well, against a really formidable opponent. Let me know who you'd like to see these guys come up against. As for the fight itself, I think it's going to be a really interesting fight. As I've already tipped, I don't think it's going to go the distance. I think both of these do have power. I think they both possess the power to knock each other out. And I can see this one going into a bit of a brawl, being a real, a real interesting fight. Maybe not quite to the level of like a Chisora versus White, but I do think I could see this one ending up quite a bit of a brawl. I think it's really been undersold as well. I think it's, it's a really good, because it's a close fight. Often you don't get many close fights these days, especially in the early stages of the year. Okay, I know we are entering May now, but the early stages of the year, for me, there was too many fights where you're kind of watching it already knowing the winner. I think you could make a case for either of these fighters, and I reckon if people drop their predictions in the comments, there would be very varying. When it comes to myself, I'm going to make a prediction, and I do think, of course, it's going to be a knockout. I'm going to give it to Yoka. I reckon Yoka's going to get the knockout. He's going to get the KO, keep his undefeated record, and probably look to move on to big things. Of course, he's currently the European heavyweight champion. This, of course, will not be a European heavyweight championship clash because Bakole himself is, of course, from Congo. So it's not going to be for that title. But you do think if he gets past this, or regardless, you know, he'll be able to defend that. And depending on how he gets on, maybe he'll be able to come up against a very formidable opponent when he does defend that title. Or he might even just move on and away from that and actually look to take on someone bigger in name. Who could you see both of these fighting? If they do obviously win, let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, please hit that like button. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And hopefully I'll see you on another video. Take care.